Well, mine started when I was, like, 4, so
Okay. So
I
not
don't
that much
remember.
different.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember not being sick. I don't remember, like,
Me either.
my toddler years, so, like, even God, even when I was probably, felt like early teenage years, maybe even 12, somewhere around there is when I started sleeping with oxygen, like, a couple liters per
Okay.
minute. Um, but, I'm not gonna wear this, or some nights I'm gonna wear it, and, it's, like, in denial, like, "Is this really helping me?"
Yeah.
Or, the doctor's just telling me to do this because they don't know what
It's
to do.
what they do.
Yeah. Well,
It does kind
how
of feel that way sometimes. I mean, I was born with cystic fibrosis and my parents found out when I was like 4 months old. So I also don't ever remember a time that I wasn't sick, but I also thought it was normal. So it was really after probably college. I mean, you know that you're not normal, but you also know that you live as normal a life as possible. So it just doesn't, you don't think about, how the other half lives, I guess. But
Right.
really after college, I didn't take the greatest care of myself in college, and so I definitely suffered for that. I knew that things were different, but it wasn't to the point where anybody was, like, having conversations about a lung transplant. Like, that was always in the background with cystic fibrosis. That's just something you kind of assume is gonna happen at some point in your life, but I wasn't even willing to consider it. And I got the swine flu in, I think, 2008 or 2009. I think it was 2008 whenever all of that happened, and I got really, really sick, and I was in and out of the hospital probably every 6 weeks for about a year and a half,
Mm,
and that's when the conversation about a lung transplant became something that I was willing to consider, and so it was the decline was subtle until it wasn't, and then,
yeah.
at that point, it was like, "Oh, you do need oxygen," and then you start to kinda feel the decline.
Mhm.
And, you know, we both went to cardiopulmonary rehab, which helped, kind of stabilize the decline, but you know that you
Yeah,
can't
you
do
definitely
as
feel
much.
it.
Oh, yeah. No question. So, I think our stories are fairly similar in that regard.
Yeah, I mean, all through, like I said, I don't remember ever not having breathing problems, but like you said, like, I didn't think about anything else because I didn't had no idea what it was like to breathe until I was 24. I
I was 33.
Yeah, it's crazy now to think, like, man, how did I live like that? Like, how I don't know. I mean, I have, like, 93% lung capacity right now,
Yeah.
and I can't remember. I was actually just looking through, um I have my old PFTs from, like, 1997 from Boston Children's Hospital. Oh, man.
Yeah. It's like
I was
less than
rocking,
a
like
liter.
I was
How did
rocking,
we get
like,
here?
20, maybe 30% lung capacity at 9 years old. I remember playing modified sports.
I refused to play any sports. I was very much an indoor girl. Some of that was because it was hard.
It was a deflect I mean, you just didn't have to explain to people, like,
Yeah,
"You're on the team, but why don't you play?"
because I can't.
Right,
Yeah.
like, yeah, I remember trying to play baseball, I tried to play basketball. I mean, you just as a kid, you're like, "Ah, there's nothing wrong with me," you're, like,
Yeah,
in denial that you're different than your peers,
which is,
and
you know, part of the game.
yeah, I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of people out there who, you know, as we know, we've met a lot of them who had a 40,
Big
50, 60 years of a normal life
yeah.
and then get sick, and you know, that to me would be way more difficult going through lung transplant, I think. Of course,
Absolutely. I have to agree. We don't know any different. And
no.
for us, it was a whole different life. It wasn't, I had this before and I've gotten most of it back, but it's not the same. It really was. I didn't know that anybody lived like this. I didn't know that
Yeah,
anybody could just put on a pair of running shoes, step out the door, and go run 3 miles, which I do now, but I didn't ever know that was possible. And I think too, part of, one of the advantages that having been sick our whole lives affords us is we are used to doctors. We are used to kind of the compliance part of post-transplant life and even pre-transplant life. You're used to those medication regimens and having to go to doctors every few months. That doesn't seem weird to me, and I just can't imagine what it's like for people who get diagnosed with, you know, COPD and
right.
idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis later in life, and all of a sudden you're like, hey, you've had this really great normal life and you didn't know it was normal, but we're going to show you now, like, you're going to do this lung transplant and you're going to have a disease now. And for us
Yeah.
it was like, hey, you're still going to have a disease. And I was like, yeah, but it doesn't even come close to the one I had before, so
Yeah,
hand
wait,
it over.
you're telling me this other disease I can breathe without being
Yeah.
dependent on oxygen?
Yeah, I'll take it.
Where do
I
I
will take
sign?
it.
Yeah, when I how old were you when they said to you, "It's time"?
Actively We were actively starting the process, and I was 29 when that happened. Yeah,
So
I was
until
29 because I remember being in Florida waiting for my transplant on my 30th birthday.
what a what a way to spend birthday.
What a birthday.
It's so crazy. So,
Yeah.
I never spent a birthday waiting for either of my organ either or my transplants, I should say.
Yeah, yours
I
were
was
pretty quick both times.
both of them were less than let's see, I was listed I just found my old letter from my original listing. Oh, yeah, I
I didn't
can tell
keep
we're
that
still
stuff.
w well, I don't know why I have it, but I have a transplant bin of, like, old medical records, just stuff from the moves over the years, and
Uh,
yeah, it's crazy to look at that stuff, kinda getting off track here, but I was listed I wanna say it was August 30th, maybe 31st of 2012, and that was my February transplant. So what's that? 4 or
5 months,
5 months, 5.5
5,
months?
maybe 6.
Right. And then the second time in 2020, I was listed January 10th of 2020 and transplanted April 19th. So it was like both of them were really quick.
Yeah.
And so I didn't really ever have I mean, I say quick, you have 4 months of just sitting around stewing,
It
but
doesn't feel quick when you're waiting 4 months.
no. I mean, when I would neither of us can speak to this, but I would imagine it's the same thing for, like, women in pregnancy, right? Like,
Yeah,
9 months or 10 months of carrying a child,
and just
it
waiting.
doesn't right, like, it's just it's I don't know, I've never really asked my wife, but I wonder if it's kinda like the same thing as, like, waiting for the phone to ring. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
'cause
I
the ba does the baby, like, say, "Hey, it's time to go," you
yeah.
know? Not
I
every
mean, I
time does it go to plan.
Yeah. I have the exact opposite experience that you have. I waited over 3 years,
Right.
and so it was a very long time, but you really do get to the point where you're like, well, I mean, in the back of your mind, you know you're waiting, but at the same time, you are trying to find ways to live with whatever is going on at the moment, increasing oxygen needs, getting more tired, less physical activity capabilities. You're just trying to figure out how you can live and enjoy life in that waiting without just sitting around twiddling your thumbs waiting for the phone to ring. And without getting to the point where you're like, well, I give up. I guess if the phone rings, it rings. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And there's definitely some of those moments. I definitely had a lot of those moments where I was like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if
We've
it's going to
we've
happen.
I feel like we've had those conversations on the treadmill.
I'm sure that we did more than a few.
Yeah. It
It was a long time.
it was. I was I remember when we first met, I was like, "Who is this little girl?" Like
Never mind that I'm almost 10 years older than you are,
right,
but it's fine.
right, but you gotta understand, Katie, like, I didn't where I'm from, I mean, I didn't really know a lot of people who had lung problems. I mean,
Yeah,
I
that's
was
true.
kind of a solo on that one, nobody could really relate to me because they're like, "Well, what do you mean
Mhm.
you can't play basketball?" Like,
Yeah.
it's like, I don't know how to describe not being able to breathe other than, you know, I try to tell people, I'm like, "Next time you're in a gas station, grab, like, a coffee straw, and
Yeah.
you can have 2, 3 of them in your mouth if you want,
It's
and
not gonna make any difference.
seal your lips around it and go walk to the register and tell me if you're not out of breath."
Yeah.
Like, that's just I don't know, you just can't get enough, and then after it's all said and done, and when you can breathe, you're like, "Wow."
Yeah. It's pretty great.
It's an out of body experience for sure.
Well, thankfully, it's not out of your body, because that would
Well,
not be great.
you know
But
what I mean.
it is. It's very surreal. It's very
Yeah,
surreal.
and what's crazier is when you're waiting and you finally get your call and you go through transplant, how at least for me, the first time and the second time, how long it does take for you to really fully, you know,
Yeah.
breathe in because, some people get through and I'm on a lot of support pages online and people are like, I'm 30 days out and I still feel like still have that rubber band effect.
Give it a
And I'm like,
year.
that could that could be I mean, it's different for everybody.
Yeah.
I didn't feel it the first one, but the second one, I was like, "Man, I definitely feel it." And I felt it for probably, I would say close to 2 months. So that was different for me.
I think it was more than that for me. But I also had a broken rib during my transplant, so that takes a while to heal. So
Yeah, and
I
there's
think it's hard to say if it was the rubber band feeling, which, everybody gets, or if it was that I had a broken rib. So I feel like it lasted more than a couple of months for me. But I didn't have an easy time the first few weeks after transplant. It was they always tell you that first 3 months is awful. And I was like, whatever, it'll be
well,
fine. It was
that's because
terrible.
yeah, we're over
It
here,
was
like,
terrible.
hooked up to a oxygen hose being told, like, "This is gonna suck." "Oh, yeah?"
Yeah, okay, well, this sucks right now. No, it
"Yeah,
really did. It was
exactly."
awful. It was
Right,
terrible. And it wasn't even so much the pain, it was just, the medications caused a ton of nausea to the point where the last resort was like, "You can have acupuncture, but we don't know what else to do." And I was like, "Yes, sign me up. I'll do it today. I don't care what it costs.
right.
Just make it happen." And it worked. And it was, I was like, "Okay, we're good." So once I got past like the nausea and stuff, then you can start to work through a lot of like those more being able to expand your lungs and not feel like you're going to throw up. I know this is really gross. I'm sorry.
No,
Um,
I mean, people that are gonna be listening are going through it or have gone through it, so they're either
it's true.
smiling or going,
Yep, been
"Oh."
there. So yeah, there were a lot of bumps in the beginning, but then once I got past, I mean, really probably the end of the first year. I mean, I developed diabetes at some point during all of that, so there was that popped up, and that was around 6 months post transplant. And really, once I hit a year, I was like, "Oh, this is good. This is good." I started running and then cycling and then lifting weights, and now we probably do 6 races a year. We're into duathlons because we can't swim. So it's just kind of been crazy to see all the things that, like, I don't know, I'll try it. I'm not an adventurous person, but it's just kind of the novelty still, even after 11 and a half years of being able to just try something,
Yeah, it's
you
kinda
know?
like, "Why not?"
Right. I mean, I broke my arm snowboarding last February. I've never snowboarded in my life. And I was like, yeah, why not? We'll give it a try. Let's do it. We got mountain bikes. I've already crashed my mountain bike 2 or 3 times. It's really just the novelty of knowing I can do this. And also knowing too that it doesn't last forever. You know, you've already been through transplant twice, and I'm positive that that time will come for me too. And not wanting to waste any of those moments that I have, being a little bit afraid, you know. I mean, granted, I do have a sense of self-preservation. There are some things that I won't do. But just understanding that time is finite. And there are people who make it to 25 and 30 years on their first transplant. And I'm very grateful that second transplants are possible because I'm enjoying this. And I'm happy to know that if the time comes, that option is there. But also knowing it may never happen.
Right, I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't know, I have a sick sense of humor, so forgive me, but,
Thank
like,
you.
you can get
You
hit by a
kind of have
bus.
to.
You can get hit by a bus and become a quadriplegic, and guess what? Alright, I mean, I don't know.
It does change your perspective.
It definitely does. I mean, I think growing up chronically ill with anything doesn't have to
You
be
always do.
respiratory. You have some sort of just
You just know.
yeah,
You don't ever
yeah.
go through that teenager, "I'm invincible." I mean, you do in a way, but it's still different. You
For me, it
always know.
was for me, it was rebellion. It was
Yeah,
like I was in denial of, like, being sick, you
yeah,
know? I remember probably right around the age of, like, 13, probably, like, puberty age,
yeah.
because when you take prednisone and everything since you're 5, 6 years old or whatever, everything else is delayed, so
I
here
bet.
I am going into high school, going through puberty, and I was just like, I didn't I'm not sick. I don't this medicine I've been taking this medicine for so long, I don't feel any better.
Yeah,
Little did I know, little did I know.
for
Anyways,
real.
but yeah, I don't know. For me, it was rebellion. It was just, I'm gonna do this, and I just I had that mentality until I went to college, and I probably still had that mentality, and
Yeah.
I had it for
I
a
think
long
I
time.
I hit the rebellion in college. I was like, "Nobody else has to do this. I don't wanna do it either. I just wanna be
Right.
normal."
Yeah,
Yeah,
and here we are. I mean, I can tell you at 37 now, what I thought was normal is just I mean, stay in your lane. That's
yeah,
basically what I would tell my younger self. Just
yeah.
stop
Just
trying to do what everybody else is doing and just go at your own pace.
yeah. Well, yes. I think I would agree with that. Don't get caught up in what everybody else is doing. Just, yeah, stay in your own lane, run your own race, and you're going to get where you're supposed to go because quite honestly, we're not all supposed to go the same place. It would be a very boring world if we were.
Yeah, I agree with that. Very boring. But yeah, there's just I mean, we're gonna cover every topic known to man, from
Yeah.
the transplant to I just first video podcast that either one of us have ever done. So I just figured, we might as well start with something casual, get a little background out there. Um, I know you had mentioned something earlier about, IPF, idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis. I'm not sure if that's what I had as a child,
Yeah.
all through my childhood, I should say. But when I came to Mayo, still undiagnosed, that's what they
Still
diagnosed me with.
in 2025 after 2 lung transplants, they're still like we don't know.
Yeah, I mean, for listing purposes, they listed me as IPF, and
Wow.
you know, there's literally a fly. Really? Anyways, yeah, they listed me for. You got to be kidding me. For transplant the first time, or diagnosed me with IPF because I mean, all I had before that was a bilateral interstitial lung fibrosis. I mean,
That's
so like,
wild.
yeah, like that's all it was. I was treated as an asthmatic. I was treated as they tested me like crazy for CF.
Well, I was gonna say at your age, they would have.
Yeah, I remember having like 3 or maybe 2 or 3. I don't wanna exaggerate, but at least 2, if not 3 stress tests
Yeah.
from just I mean, I started my journey in New York, and then I went to Boston, and, when I went to Boston is where I stayed for until I was 18, but, um, yeah, it was like Children's Hospital was kind of that place where, like, they kind of, you know, the asthma thing kind of left the chat, so to speak. We were like, "Okay, this kid doesn't have
This
asthma.
isn't asthma.
His lungs are covered in scar tissue. This is obviously
That's
fibrosis."
I don't think I knew that. I don't think I knew that you did not have a formal diagnosis.
Yeah, it's the weirdest thing, like, and then, at from 10, let's see, I probably ended up there when I was, I don't know, 10, 11, 12, what somewhere in there, and when I got there, it was like, my whole life up until that point was like, "I don't know what's wrong with him. I don't know what's wrong with him."
Yeah.
So, I was like I felt like I was being passed around by you go from local specialists to,
Yeah.
then your big cities, you know for me, it was Albany, and then you go to a bigger city from there. It's like
Yeah.
so I ended up in Boston, and Boston
Yeah.
Children's Hospital was the ones who were able to at least stabilize me. They
Mhm.
prevented my disease from progressing, and then, like you said, not taking the best care of yourself when you went to college. I probably could
It
fall
happens.
into fall into that category myself.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah, and, I yeah, I don't know if I would have done anything differently. I mean, I enjoyed college. Would I do it again?
No.
No.
No, I'm much too old to repeat that.
Yeah,
Uh,
no. I
yeah.
just I think about what I put in and what I got out, and yeah, I don't know if I'd do it again. But anyways,
Wouldn't do it.
I had to finish my last semester of college after my first transplant. I got the news
I'm not
in
really
my
serious
last
about that.
semester of my senior year of college. Might have been my 7th year of college, but whatever.
A lot of people go to college for 7 years.
Ser They're doctors.
No.
I know.
Yeah.
No, it's, yeah. I had a lung transplant in between there. What do you want me to do?
It counts. I mean,
But I
I finished
remember
in 4, but it was like, I'm bound and determined to finish in 4 years, and, you know, it wasn't I went straight into teaching, and I've had I've been out and worked for a nonprofit, and I've been back to teaching, and I don't know. I don't know that I would rush it. If I were gonna go back to college, I don't think I would rush it this time,
I think I'd go
but
to a trade school.
I think I'd probably still end up where I am. I joke about it all the time, but I do actually really enjoy it. So,
Lucky you.
lucky me. I may be the only public school teacher to ever say that, but
Yeah,
it's
but you know what? Your life, everything you've gone through, it gives you a different kind of appreciation for things that you enjoy. It's like there was a time where I really wanted to do this and I couldn't do it because my
yeah,
health wouldn't allow me to, and now
absolutely.
I have endless opportunities because I don't, the health thing isn't something that I really gotta focus on. I mean, you
No,
do, but
I mean, you do
anybody
have there are things we definitely can't do. I'm not gonna go be a zookeeper or,
right,
I'm not gonna go be a marine biologist and be in a water tank full of, marine mammals. Would be great,
right.
but not a possibility. But again, I think that goes back to the perspective that we have. I think when you're growing up, you always think like there's one thing that I'm supposed to be and there's one path that my life is supposed to follow and that's what I'm trying to get to. And you learn when you grow up the way that we did and going through the things that we go through, you learn there's not just one path. And you may be on one path for a little while and get knocked off, but you do something different and you find something else that you love and you take the opportunities where they pop up and you learn to just not to be cliche about it, but you learn to seize that moment and
Yeah.
make it happen.
Yeah, it's like my favorite question or my not it's not really a question, but my favorite expression that people said to me growing up and, going through many surgeries, whether it was for my lungs or my stomach or whatever, because I had GERD. Anybody has GERD, they know it's not fun. But anyways, no matter what, it was just they would say to you, like, "I don't know how you do it." I'm like, "What does that what does that mean? You don't know how I do it?" Well, I don't really know how I do it either, but I just do it. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's life. Just I guess you could wake up and decide today's the end, but
You
I
can make
just
yourself a victim of your own circumstances, or you can choose,
mm,
I'm going to do as much as I can. And if I can't do it all today, that's okay. At least I tried. At least I didn't leave anything on the table today. Or, you can, like you said, you can choose not to do anything. It's not a matter of how do we do it. It's just what other option do we have?
yeah, you just I don't know, you wake up and I mean, it's not like we wake up and we're like, "Hey, today's the day. Maybe I'll wake up and be able to take a deep breath." But, it's just like, "Hey, maybe You know, I don't know. For me, I always told myself it could always be worse. I
Yeah.
could always have something that isn't treatable, that there isn't options for.
Yeah.
And, you know, so I don't really think that I have it that bad. There are times where I feel like I have it that bad.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
Think self-pity is also part of the process, but you learn really quick not to hang on to that either.
it's not good for anybody,
It's not.
especially it bleeds into every relationship
It
you
does.
have,
It
every
does.
single one. And if you're going through it and it hasn't yet, it
It
will.
will.
It will rear
It
its ugly
will.
face.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole mental health aspect of all this too.
I mean, it does give you a wicked sense of humor when you come out the other side, though, and a lot of cool scars that you can show off.
Yeah, I have a roadmap.
Yes,
Do you have angel wings or did they cut you?
I do. I
You
I
do?
have angel wings and I have the chest tube scars, one of which did not seal well at first, and it's all like puckered, and sometimes it bothers me, but then I'm like, no, I earned that.
Yeah,
Earned that one.
I have like a what do they call it? Like a keloid on the end. Cuz they cut so I'm cut like a clamshell. They cut me through the
Both times.
chest both times. Same scar. Yeah.
Did it hurt
So
worse second time? I feel like I'm jumping topics. I should probably save that for
no, it's
another
all
episode.
hey, this is what it's all about, right? No, so well, the first time, don't forget, I didn't get 2 lungs.
Oh,
I
I
got I
yes, I remember that now.
okay, so once they figured out that my chest cavity is super small, because I had a really bad pectus, which is a
Mhm.
super bad
I
indentation on your
remember.
chest. Yeah, so, uh, they would have liked me to have that fixed as a child, and when I was a child, I remember asking about it, and they were never for insurance purposes, never deemed it medically necessary, so it'd be just a
Yeah.
cosmetic surgery. Well, we ain't signing up for that. So,
No,
I didn't yeah, like, I don't like the way I look, like,
I'm not
you think
vain.
yeah, I'm currently 97 pounds at
Yes.
24 years old, fighting for my life. You
It is
really
the
think
least of my worries.
yeah, at least my chest looks good. Nah.
Yeah,
So, anyways,
definitely what I'm
so
thinking.
when I'm going through transplant, because I have this, they're like, 2 lungs aren't gonna fit in there, you know, my heart was deviated over onto my, let's see, left lung cavity, so my heart was essentially sharing the same cavity as my, left lung, so that was fun, but because of all that, they approved me for 1 right lung transplant, and I definitely recommend getting 2, but,
If
I
you have
mean
the option.
yeah. And you know a little bit about my first transplant.
I
We'll
do.
get into that. We'll get into that later, but
That is definitely another story for another day.
yeah. Yeah, we'll have to have a special guest on for that one. Is your memory bad after
Yes, my memory is
okay.
bad.
My
but I'm
memory is
also
my short-term
44 years
memory.
old.
Yeah,
I'm also 44, so it just comes with the territory.
I guess. But
And
yeah,
I work a
there
job where this is the kind of stuff I do all day. I meet one on one with people. I have lots of conversations about different things. I also have to remember like a ton of school regulations and laws. And so by this point in the day, I don't make
brain's
decisions.
fried.
Brain is fried.
Yeah, I've had like a empty house. Benjamin's back to school, so I shouldn't say back to school. He's in school, off to
Kindergarten.
kindergarten, full days. So yeah, when you walk around here just thinking stuff all day to yourself, um,
Yeah, I know a little bit about that too.
yeah, like I have too much time right now, but
You'll
we'll
find
fix
things
that.
to fill it with. I
Yeah, no,
promise.
for sure. Absolutely.